Confidential Memorandum to the Council of Advanced Spiritual Inquirers from the Consortium for Theological Astrological Studies. Date timeless. Subject Field Report on Planetary Exaltation and Debilitation, Karmic Assignments, and Soul Destinies. Preamble and Philosophical Framework. This report synthesizes the agreed-upon principles governing the deep karmic implications of planetary exaltation and debilitation. We operate on the following axioms. The chart as a karmic mandala. The natal chart is not a random assignment but a precise pre-incarnative blueprint. It represents the soul's curriculum for the present lifetime, detailing both earned masteries, exaltations, and core challenges, debilitations. Planets as divine intelligences. Planets are not passive influencers, but conscious archetypal forces, the ministers of the divine will. Their placement indicates how these cosmic ministers can perform their function. Exaltation as a throne. A planet in its exaltation is an honored guest. This represents a spiritual principle mastered in past lives, now granted as a divine gift and a high calling. Its shadow is the potential for complacency or the burden of its high expression. Debilitation as a crucible. A planet in its fall or detriment is in exile. This represents a core soul lesson, an unrealized spiritual principle that now demands conscious alchemy. It is the primary engine for growth in the incarnation, a sacred wound that contains the seed of ultimate strength. The following is a planetary analysis under this framework. Planetary dossiers, karmic assignments, and destinies. The luminaries, the core self and the vessel of life. The sun. Exaltation in Aries. The soul's karmic history is one of decisive, pioneering leadership. Past lives were spent as warriors, explorers, and initiators who learned to act with courage and self-defined authority. The destiny here is to incarnate the pure will of the spirit. The native is called to lead, to initiate, and to fearlessly embody their unique identity. The karmic shadow is raw egotism, the untempered I am that bulldozes others, forgetting that true will aligns with divine will. Debilitation in Libra. The karmic bind is an over-identification with the other. Past lives were likely dominated by codependency, indecision, and a loss of self within partnership. The soul's assignment is to discover the self through conscious relationship. The native must learn to build bridges without dissolving their own bank. Their destiny is to become a master of diplomacy and balance, but only after they have forged a core identity that does not require another's reflection to exist. The moon. Exaltation in Taurus. The soul's karmic path is one of cultivating deep emotional security, stability, and nurturance within the physical realm. Past lives were grounded, likely connected to the earth, family, and the simple sensual comforts of life. The destiny is to become a stable, nurturing foundation for others. The native is a pillar of emotional and physical reliability. The karmic shadow is stubborn attachment to comfort and resistance to necessary emotional change, becoming stuck in materialism. Debilitation in Scorpio. The karmic history is one of emotional betrayal, power struggles, and obsessive attachments. The soul has experienced the depths of loss, jealousy, and psychic turmoil. The assignment is the alchemical purification of the emotional body. The native must learn to dive into their own emotional abyss, confront their shadows, and transmute pain into profound emotional power and regenerative strength. Their destiny is to become an emotional shaman, but only after they stop being destroyed by their own depths. The personal planets, the faculties of the mind and heart. Mercury, exaltation in Virgo and Aquarius per some schools. The karmic path is one of meticulous analysis, service through intellect, and the mastery of discernment. The soul has been a scribe, a healer, a technician, learning to sort the pure from the impure. The destiny is to become an instrument of precise, useful intelligence. The native here has to analyze, heal, and improve systems. The shadow is criticism, anxiety, and getting lost in minutiae, missing the bigger picture. Debilitation in Pisces and Sagittarius per some schools. The karmic bind is a history of deception, confused communication, or a mind lost in fantasy or dogma. The soul's assignment is to transcend the limitations of the concrete mind and access intuitive symbolic knowing. The native must learn to distinguish divine inspiration from personal illusion. Their destiny is to become a poet, a mystic, or a channel for higher truths, but they must first build a bridge between logic and intuition. Venus, exaltation in Pisces. As previously detailed, the karmic past is the mastery of unconditional, compassionate love. The soul has been the mystic, the artist, the sacrificial lover. The destiny is to embody and channel divine love. The native is a living vessel of forgiveness and beauty. The shadow is martyrdom, poor boundaries, and escapism through fantasy or substances. Debilitation in Virgo. The karmic history is one of conditional love, criticism, and love expressed only through duty and service. The soul's assignment is to discover the sacred in the imperfect and to make love practical. The native must learn that love is not a flawless ideal, but a living process perfected through attentive, devoted action. Their destiny is to build a love that is both spiritually and tangibly sound. Mars, exaltation in Capricorn. The karmic past is one of disciplined, ambitious, and strategic use of power. The soul has been the general, the CEO, the master builder, learning to direct the will with patience and control. The destiny is to wield power with responsibility and long-term vision. The native is here to achieve, build, and lead with unwavering discipline. The shadow is cold ambition, ruthlessness, and a drive for power that eclipses humanity. Debilitation in Cancer and Taurus per some schools. The karmic bind is a history of repressed anger, defensive emotionality, or using force to protect vulnerability, the crab's shell. The soul's assignment is to learn to assert the self and fight for what one believes in without being controlled by emotions. The native must channel their warrior spirit into protecting and nurturing their tribe, family, community in a conscious rather than reactive way. Their rage must be transformed into courageous emotional advocacy. The social and transpersonal planets, the collective and the soul's evolution. Jupiter, exaltation in Cancer. The karmic past is one of benevolent nurturing, protection, and the building of emotional and cultural traditions. The soul has been the wise matriarch, patriarch, the provider, the one who expands the family tribe. The destiny is to generate growth through emotional wisdom, care, and the preservation of what is truly nourishing. The natives' faith and abundance flow from their capacity to nurture and belong. The shadow is tribalism, excessive sentimentalism, and expanding the ego through the family unit. Debilitation in Capricorn. The karmic history is one of rigid dogma, ambition without faith, or a philosophy based solely on material success and social status. The soul's assignment is to build a philosophy based on real world experience and enduring structures. The native must find meaning and faith not through easy grace, but through hard work, discipline, and overcoming limitations. Their greatest growth and wisdom, Jupiter, comes through mastering the lessons of Saturn. Saturn, exaltation in Libra. The karmic past is one of mastering responsibility within relationship, creating just laws, and understanding that true structure requires balance and fairness. The soul has been the judge, the architect, the diplomat who builds enduring partnerships. The destiny is to become a master of conscious commitment and a builder of lasting, equitable structures. The shadow is an over-reliance on external rules and a fear of making the wrong decision, leading to stagnation. Debilitation in Aries and Cancer per some schools. The karmic bind is a history of irresponsible action, a rejection of limits or authority figures who are absent or oppressive. The soul's assignment is to internalize authority and learn disciplined, courageous initiative. The native must impose structure on their own impulses and learn that true freedom, Aries, requires self-mastery, Saturn. They must become their own stern but fair father. Conclusion and synthesis. The pattern is clear and consistent. The exaltations offer a throne from which to rule, but with the karmic test of responsibility and the avoidance of the shadow. The debilitations present a crucible of suffering and challenge which contains the precise formula for the soul's ultimate empowerment and evolution. The exalted planet is what the soul has come to give. The debilitated planet is what the soul has come to learn. A chart rich in exaltation suggests a soul arriving with gifts to bestow. A chart heavy in debilitation suggests a soul of immense courage, here for a profound curriculum of alchemical transformation. The most evolved souls often carry a mixture of both, allowing them to teach from a place of hard-won wisdom. This concludes our field report. Signed, the Consortium for Theological Astrological Studies, on behalf of the Ageless Wisdom Tradition.